Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efene, Great Malabite.
Good morning,
I hope you are ready for us.
Good morning, Ayo.
I hope you are ready for us.
Good morning, Rufa.
Thank God it's Friday.
You want to reveal state secrets.
No, you said yesterday that it's strictly by invitation. Don't worry, don't. But you up to the task.
Let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. Yes, the lead story. Tinubu in Paris. Ignoring Nigeria will be perilous to the universe. Joint world leaders to tackle debt poverty issues. Says it's prepared for business, ready for investors to come to Nigeria. Meets with Afri-Exim, European Bank for Reconstruction and Development presidents. At meeting with Shettima, Gates Foundation votes $7 billion interventions for Africa in next 4 years. Yes, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Paris with the full weight of the federal government. Yes, I like that word. Perilous to the universe. Hyperbolic in some sense, but Nigeria is a big country. So if you are the president of Nigeria, you move with that weight. It doesn't matter your size, because we've seen tall presidents don't really reflect in the weight of Nigeria as a big country. But economic diplomacy, the president is pursuing there, inviting investors to come to Nigeria. Issues of poverty and, of course, debt restructuring and cancellation is putting on the table. Well, it will take a long while, some real magic to get debt cancellation and perhaps restructuring for Nigeria, but cancellation a distance, not after President Olusegun Obasanjo got Nigeria's debt cancelled, and we have heaped more debts ever since. But it's good seeing our president taking the center stage there in Paris. Now, if we just look at other stories, of course, the Nation newspaper reporting that story, we have moved obstacles to growth. Tinubu tells investors, we have taken the largest elephant out of the room with removal of fuel subsidy. Multiple exchange rates are equally gone. Yes, more reforms on the way, I want to believe. Now, the Guardian newspaper, no flood of fury, no respite for Bayelsa, Kogi, Rivers, 30 others ahead of another cloud burst. Yes. Of course, the warnings have been there from the relevant authorities that there's going to be another round of flooding this year with the rains coming down hard and fast. But what have we done to prepare for the rains? Again, it's not enough to bemoan the fate of those who live in affected areas. Actions must be taken to ameliorate the situation, even if we cannot prevent the fury of nature. Now, the Punch newspaper, DMO worries over low revenue as Nigeria's debt nears 81 trillion naira. Federal government's 10 trillion naira revenue can't support fresh borrowing. DMO is cautioning government to issue promissory notes as judgment debt nears 3 trillion naira. Yes, the debt overhang, a big burden, which this government must also battle with as it looks forward to, of course, deal with all the issues impeding economic growth in the country right now. But it's haven't taken the step to stop wasteful, non-sustainable fuel subsidy. Of course, there are other actions to be taken. Cutting the cost of government is high on that list. And we'll see what the president will do instead of those who are proposing to him to increase the salaries of government officials, as it were. Daily Trust newspaper, the federal government to end polio December. Shettima, yes, the vice president, Senator Kashim Shettima, at that meeting with Bill Gates, who has increased his aid $7 billion to Africa over the next 4 years. Concrete decisions needed. Aliko Dangote is saying governors will support all initiatives for healthy population. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, NLC, TUC, CSOs rise against hike in electricity tariff. Tariff hike, insensitive, callous. Nigerian Labour Congress. Increase height of insensitivity to suffering masses. TUC, action on fair, unjustifiable. CSOs report Nigeria needs $34.5 billion investment to provide electricity access by 2030. Well, we talk of cost-reflective tariff, but Joe Ajero, the Nigerian Labour Congress president, yesterday on Arise News also talk of service-reflective tariff because Nigerians, many in a number of areas, are not enjoying electricity, yet they get bill. So one of the solutions, everybody should be metered so that if you don't get light, you don't pay. I'm sure that will be fair enough. Now, let's look at the foreign newspapers quickly. The Financial Times. Bank of England takes interest to 5% in effort to put lid on inflation. Half-point move defies forecast. MPC votes 7-2 in favor of rise. Sunak, yes, the Prime Minister dashes hope of tax cuts. Yes, the Bank of England yesterday raised the interest rate to 5%, a surprise half-point increase as the central bank and the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, vowed to take control of the persistent inflation. Of course, the Prime Minister is very much in support of the decision of the Bank of England. But will these measures be able to tame the rising inflation in England? Yes, left to be seen, because all the actions taken so far not seem to be working. And yes, another story in the front page of the Financial Times. Church of England dumps oil stakes after failure to tackle climate change. Yes, the Church of England, they're dropping their stakes in Shell, BP, ExxonMobil, Total, and 7 other big oil firms because they are not doing enough to protect the climate and to enhance climate, to deal with the climate change issue. So, Bank of England taking that step there. Now, the Daily Telegraph newspaper, the Titanic, claims 5 more lives. In fact, the These Day newspaper puts it succinctly. Yes, cost of Titanic resonates as Titan submersible implodes, killing all 5 on board. Ruben, Rufai, and Ayo.
So I want to talk about 2 stories. Number 1 will be at the front page of the Guardian newspaper that talked about, the unrelenting floods in Bayelsa and the fact that nothing had been done for people a year after. I mean, we all remember how, and the reaction and the back and forth as regards the humanitarian minister looking into what happened in Bayelsa. We all remember what happened. In fact, I particularly remember that then the claim came out that, other states were more affected than Bayelsa, and that's why they looked at the way of other states. I remember that story along that line.
No, she said Bayelsa is not the worst
affected. So that's why, in terms of respite, compared to other states that were affected. But what I just want to say,
just drop the ball there.
So what I just want to say is, it's just pretty much indicative of how we treat victims of chaos and disaster like this. A year after, what has been done for those states? The people that lost livelihood, that lost crops, what have been done? Have we been able to build those buffers? Is it when they tell us that dams are going to be opened again that we start to scamper? Have we planned? Because you see, what happens in this country is that we always fail to plan. Things will happen, we don't set up an inquest, we don't learn from them, and we move on in a hurry. I just hope we learn. And I'm really happy about the advocacy the Guardian has been doing in recent times. I've been seeing their front page. This is an advocacy journalism Guardian has been doing. Because these are issues that people just sweep under the carpet and forget. But Guardian is bringing it back to the fore, and they took stories from people that were affected. All right. Secondly, I deliberately asked, you see, I think the fight against these people, these expeditioners, and for me, I'll say they are heroes because they try to push that limit of human perseverance to go see a very important relic. If they were successful, people will have been championing them that they're heroes now. They failed now, and people are saying, oh, because they are billionaires, they had so much money, they can. Let's not denigrate people like that. Because you see, we that were having satellites to do media today, if not for the likes of Major General Yuri Gagarin, the cosmonauts that first went to space and he came back, and the likes of Neil Armstrong with one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, will not be where we are today. If not for the likes of people that sacrificed a lot. I think it was Apollo 11 that lost their life as regards expedition to learn more about the extraterrestrial body. Will not be where we are today. And they didn't have regulations when they did it. They did it for the love. I want to end by quickly saying, Edmund Hillary, when he conquered the Everest, said, I didn't conquer the Everest, but I conquered myself. And tribute to all these men that lost their life because they were human beings that went out to conquer themselves and advance the cause of humanity and took one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
All right, just very quickly, report ranks, I'd like to take this news from the Vanguard, page 6. Report ranks Lagos 4th worst city to live in. And they used 30, it was done by the Economist Intelligence Unit, and they used, the report surveyed 173 cities and used 30 qualitative and quantitative factors. Now, the factors or the broad categories were stability, healthcare, culture, environment, education, and infrastructure. And I just wanted to talk about the roads in Lagos State. I don't know if anyone has seen the deplorable conditions of roads, and this is meant to be the city of the center for excellence, the city, the golden city of Nigeria, and people are suffering in terms of the traffic caused just by bad roads and deep potholes.
I don't just want to call out Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, but the roads are not terrible. It's like governance has gone to sleep since after the election.
It's rainy season, very quickly. Just to commend Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
Oh, you are commending.
When he went for the convocation of Lagos State University, the best graduating student, he increased the price to about 10 million.
Yeah,
5 million from his own pocket, additional 5 million from Lagos State. You know the usual complaint.
Yes.
When people excel academically, they are given small money.
Yeah.
You know, BB Naija is more attractive when you go for beauty pageant. So thank you, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for recognizing academic excellence.
Don't give excuse for the
It's
rainy season.
And Lagos is the 4th worst city in the world. We should live in.
Thank you very much.